Oi, this is the Profanity Gnome, and I'm here to tell you that if you're under 13 years old, fuck off this video! Get the fuck off YouTube! Get your mama to get your dad's cock out of her ears and actually be a parent! This is for adults only! And for everybody else, enjoy the video. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below what you think, you fuck buckets. To stand out among the crowd, even if I gotta shout out loud, till mine is the only face that you see. Gonna stand out till you notice me. Hey Satan, we're here! Ah, guys, you made it! So, do you mind telling us what's so important that we had to give up a trip to Egypt episode? Right, before that. Steve, go get us some coffee.
Radio, boss!
It's still really weird to be working with hive minds.
That's why I chose to get him out of here.
Excuse me? Come again?
Quick, over there. Well, before I was only treating this as just some job to kill some time. But then I really started thinking about it. What's ancient Hebrew doing in Ducktales?
Because Jews run the bank and control most of the world?
That is only half true, but this is something different. This is here before Ducktales even plopped down.
Wait, how is that possible? How is it possible that a fandom formed before the fandom formed?
I don't know, but one thing is definitely for sure, something else was here. Now, during my research, I discovered that there's been several references to a flaming blade, like a flaming blade of some kind. Now, obviously, it didn't really make much sense until I started applying my knowledge to it. And then it just fell into place. These glyphs, this text, is referencing the flaming sword.
Flaming sword? Yeah, you're gonna have to be more specific. Yeah, there's like a million flaming swords.
Yeah, a flaming sword. But this is the flaming sword. Biblical flaming sword.
You're gonna have to elaborate.
This is the flaming sword that guarded the gates of Eden. Guarded the gates of the tree of knowledge. But when the Eden paradise was destroyed by my dad, it was said that the flaming sword was destroyed. Now, this sword is the most powerful weapon in the known universe.
Yeah, but those are like a dime a dozen. Yeah, just drop by the Rick and Morty fandom and then boom, you got at least 10.
Yeah, but this is from not just any old fandom. This is from the Christian fandom. One of the most ancient ones ever to exist. There are more Christians nowadays than there are fans of Dragon Ball Z. Well, it was always said that the sword was destroyed before I actually did, the rebellion. But, if I had that sword, we'd be having much different conversations right now. Anyway, the sword was supposedly destroyed, but this text says that sword might have actually survived.
So wait, you're telling me that there is equivalent of a biblical nuke sitting right here in the DuckTales fandom? And something like that probably has a decent price tag attached to it.
How long have you been there?
Just long enough to know that there's something big, rich, powerful, and valuable at the center of my fandom. And I also know that there's probably nothing I can do to stop you two from coming and messing things up. We're all a package deal. Okay, you can come with me and your friend. Just don't take too long packing up your gear. Right, my mistake. Forgot what I was talking to. This is the living mummies of Toth-Ra! The episode begins with a crash landing, as Scrooge McDuck and the gang are investigating the ancient temple of Toth-Ra, an ancient pharaoh who ruled over Egypt in ancient times. But before they could get their bearings on everything, they fall into a trap and unfortunately are separated. Scrooge, Launchpad, Huey, and Dewey are sent in one direction, where they are surrounded by enemies. But before they have a chance to attack, they show that they're not enemies, but rather just people dressed as mummies. Kind of underwhelming. but it's an interesting surprise. As the episode's title suggests, these are living mummies, ancient descendants of the people long, long ago. And they are living quite the miserable life. In the dark, doing whatever they can to survive. And even though they look quite happy, they are definitely better alternatives. But before they even have time to worry about these people, they soon discover that Louie and Webby are missing.
I want to set off all the booby traps!
Hold your horses! Even the most basic of death traps still has the word death in it! Eventually, Scrooge will figure out it's easier just to let him set off the death traps and just save him afterward.
Right, about that. There's something I should probably tell you. If the flaming sword is somewhere down here, I don't think it's a good idea to let Scrooge, or for that matter, anyone, close to it, let alone have it. It's imperative that we get the swords first. Otherwise, there might be some dire consequences.
So what, are you suggesting that we just ask Scrooge to hand over possibly the most powerful and destructive weapon in the history of the universe?
If it comes down to it, I don't think we should ask him.
Well, it's not as though we don't know our way around fighting hive minds.
This is a really deep hole!
Well, we later cut to Webby and Louie's location, as Louie is in 7th heaven, with a huge pile of treasure, which is his lifelong dream. While Webby is busy translating hieroglyphs, saying that the ancient mummy of Toth-Ra will one day once again rise. But there's bits of it that don't seem to make sense to her. But Louie says, don't worry about it, we got gold. What else do we need, right? Well, the living hospitable mummies are giving Scrooge and the gang the grand tour, as Scrooge is becoming more and more annoyed about their society. But then Toth-Ra emerges, and after the mummies give him an offering, he gives them their own gift, a glimpse of the sun, for a few short minutes before putting them all back into eternal darkness. Yeah, something's amiss here, and if Louie was around, not stuffing his pants full of gold, he might have been able to pick up on it. But he has his own worries as the temple guards show up. Well, Scrooge wants to have a bone to pick with this mummy, and the others also want to get their friends back. So Scrooge decides that he's going to rally the mummies to overthrow Toth-Ra, so that they no longer have to live in this pitiful state. But the mummies are perfectly happy. None of them are really all that, terribly well off. So Scrooge doesn't really have a leg to stand on to motivate them. But then Launchpad introduces them to the concept of modern cuisine. With a simple burrito, it rallies all the mummies together as they form the resistance to Toth-Ra. Hey, it worked on Beerus.
He's not wrong, you know.
Well, the guard gives chase to Louie and Webby. Louie tries to sweet-talk his way out of it, and try to get the guard to see reason, but to no avail. But then it's Webby who points out all the flaws in how they're being executed, which gives them a distraction just long enough to escape. Though she wasn't trying to escape, she was actually helping him out with the sacrifice. It's such a Webby thing to do. Anyway, Scrooge and the mummies begin planning their resistance. Unfortunately, it's not really going very well. The only ones that seem to be making any kind of progress is Launchpad's team, who he's helping them figure out how to fold burritos. Oh, this is gonna end really good or really bad.
Wow, they went completely all out on this pitfall! Oh, do you think they have those blowy darts that come out of the walls when you step on panels? Or a giant boulder chase scene? Oh, that would be so awesome! Gosh, McKilts, what is wrong with you? Even Dewey has more sense than to just walk into a trap and wait a minute. There's something at the bottom, something glimmering. Hoist us down! Wait, you want to go toward the bottom? Yes! Send down some bees! Have us fly down! You got it! You heard the queen! Down!
But Louie and Webby go right out of the frying pan and into the fire, as they go right face to face with Toth-Ra himself. And he is not looking happy, especially since his people have just busted down his doors. Louie once again tries to be a con man to say he is too a pharaoh god, but Toth-Ra isn't believing him. But something strange about this mummy, something that Louie inspects upon. He goes up and discovers that the mummy is actually being controlled by the temple guards. Yep, Toth-Ra is still very much dead. Surprise! Well, the guard then spills the beans. They were waiting for Toth-Ra to wake up, but unfortunately, when something dies, they kind of stay dead. That's the problem with dying. So, for thousands of years, the temple guards and their brethren have been running a huge con. They get all the riches and subservience while pretending to be a god king. But then it's all spoiled when Scrooge and the mummies come in bursting in. And, well, there's nothing really to rebel against since Toth-Ra isn't alive. Hell, even Louie shows the mechanics of how the dang thing works. But then everything goes to shit when the puppet breaks off the machine, goes past the temple circle, and, well, Toth-Ra's up, baby! So Toth-Ra is awake. Scrooge does his best to fight, as well as everybody else, but he's just too dang strong. And he's particularly pissed at Louie, because he was stealing his treasure, and begins the attack on him. Louie finds himself cornered, and does his best to try to stall for time, but to no avail. But then Toth-Ra is ambushed by the sun itself. And with a lucky blast off of a sunbeam, he blinds Toth-Ra just long enough for the mummies to practice their burrito folding technique, get him back into the temple. We get this provocative image, and they reseal Toth-Ra back into his tomb, where he sleeps once more. The mummies then escape their temple prison, and they all celebrate by going to a taco stand, and everybody gets burritos on Scrooge. And that was The Living Mummies of Toth-Ra. It's actually quite an enjoyable episode. It's episodes like these that just don't seem to have a connect to larger stories that really does make Ducktales work as a series. It's these just random fun adventure episodes. And everybody had some part to play, no matter how small. But this one I consider more of a Louie episode than anything else. He stole the show, with all of his plans trying and failing, but he never gave up. I could also consider this a Launchpad Scrooge episode, because it was actually Launchpad who was able to motivate the mummies to fighting for their side and wanting a better life. Overall, it's just a fun episode. Something that's reminiscent of the old series, but with new and fun twists to it. The people behind Ducktales 2017 really do understand what makes this series work, makes these characters work, and genuinely, they know what they're doing. Whatever they were before DuckTales 2017, I hope they've moved on to truly better things now. So with that being said, we're the Cartoon Gentlemen, the organizers of chaos. See you next time.
Now this is a construct. It almost looks like a gladiatorial arena.
This is so cool! I want to go exploring!
No. You've already caused us just enough trouble, and I hate this kind of trouble. You will sit in that corner and not touch anything.
But I wanna...
Don't! Bees, keep an eye on him.
Yes, my queen! Ah, phooey. Guys? Not now! We're investigating. Guys! Not now! Guys! Oh, for pity's sakes, what? Oh!
Uh-oh.
In the name of the heavens and the Holy Spirit, all infidels shall be slain. To stand out among the crowd,
Even if I gotta shout out loud,
till mine is the only face that you see. Gonna stand out till you notice me.